Thousands of residents east of Los Angeles are under evacuation orders after heavy rains caused fast-moving mudslides that damaged homes and buried cars.
Imagine you are peacefully enjoying the mountainside view, and suddenly a tremendous roar echoes through the air, and before you know it, a massive wave of debris, rocks, and trees comes hurtling down the slope right at you. Yeah, it's a landslide, nature's way of showing off its gravity prowess and making the Earth come alive. Sure, there are technical classifications for different types of landslides, but honestly, when you're facing one head-on, the only thing on your mind is getting out of harm's way before it's too late. Landslides are immensely destructive forces capable of submerging vast areas in mud and debris. And guess what? If they happen underwater, they can trigger a devastating tsunami. As if the presence of dangerous landslides wasn't enough, they could also trigger other dreadful natural disasters. So join us. For a real taste of Mother Nature's wild side, here are the 20 deadliest landslides caught on camera. Number 20. Mudslide in Sierra Leone. Back in August 14, 2017, something really devastating happened in Sierra Leone's capital city, Freetown. Massive mud flows struck the area after 3 days of relentless rainfall, causing utter destruction. More than 1,000 people lost their lives and more than 3,000 were left homeless. But amidst all the chaos, you had these real-life heroes stepping up to the plate. Survivors and volunteers showed remarkable courage, digging through the muck and debris, even using their bare hands, desperately searching for their missing loved ones. The situation was so dire that the military had to step in to assist in the rescue operation. Now let's get into why this mess happened in the first place. First, the topography and climate of the region played a significant role. Many of the impoverished areas in Freetown are located close to sea level, making the situation worse during the rainy season. And to make matters worse, the unregulated construction of large residential houses on hilltops added to the problem. Here's another thing. The deforestation for firewood and charcoal has only worsened the flooding and mudslide situation. And as if that wasn't enough, Freetown's drainage channels often get clogged due to garbage dumping, mainly because of the lack of sufficient sanitation services in many areas. Number 19. Blocked tunnel. This next video shows a massive landslide occurring just seconds after 2 cars apparently drove inside a tunnel. This crazy incident happened back in 2016 in Shanxi Province, China, on a section of the Qingdao-Yinchuan Highway in the city of LUEYANG. And what caused this terrifying cliff collapse? Torrential rains took the blame for bringing down this colossal 40-meter-high cliff. But here's where the real miracle lies. Those 2 cars that made it through the tunnel just in the nick of time. The cliff crumbled right after they passed. Talk about a close call. When the officials arrived on the scene, you can imagine the mayhem. The landslide had completely blocked the tunnel entrance, and there was a long line of vehicles stretching about 5 kilometers. But hey, hats off to the highway maintenance crews. They sprang into action immediately, dispatching teams to clear that colossal landslide. They worked tirelessly to make sure at least 1 lane was opened up, allowing traffic to pass through the tunnel. Number 18. BLUFF collapse. On March 16th this year, a section of San Elijo State Beach in Encinitas had to be shut down due to a bluff collapse underneath a campground. The incident occurred around 1:15 p.m. at the 2050 block of South Coast Highway 101. The Encinitas Fire Department got reports about the collapse an hour later, and they were quick to respond. They teamed up with the San Diego County Sheriff's Department and California State Parks personnel to search for anyone who might have been trapped under the fallen earth. Fortunately, they didn't find anyone, so they called off the search. To be extra cautious, they closed the nearby parking lot and warned visitors not to use the staircase leading to the North Beach area. Pictures posted on social media showed the roped-off beach site, with signs warning people about the dangerous conditions. The brave folks from the Encinitas Fire Department worked hard to clear the scene and make sure everything was secure. It's always impressive to see these professionals in action. Thankfully, everyone's okay, but it's a good reminder of the power of nature and the importance of staying safe near these coastal bluffs. So, if you're planning a beach trip soon, make sure to check for any updates on the area's safety before heading out. Number 17. sliding down the slopes. In the summer of 2020, continuous heavy rainfall wreaked havoc in the disaster area of Lejia Mountain, Nanbei Town, Xiamen County, Changde City, Hunan Province. This resulted in a massive landslide. A video caught the whole ordeal on camera. You can see the moment a residential house on the mountain collapsed, sending smoke billowing into the air. You can as well see mud and trees slowly sliding down the slopes. Tragically, the landslide buried 4 residential houses, along with a forklift, an excavator, and a tram car. Moreover, approximately 300 meters of a highway suffered collapse due to the force of the landslide. Despite the destruction, there were no reported casualties, which is fortunate. Given the severity of the damage to the road section, restoring normalcy proved to be a challenging task. Local authorities promptly arrived at the scene to strategize detours for vehicles, while the presence of police and road maintenance officers ensured the safety and security of the site. Number 16. A narrow escape. A harrowing incident took place in the Philippines on November 4, 2018, when passengers aboard a bus narrowly escaped a dangerous landslide. The driver's quick thinking saved them as he skillfully reversed the vehicle just in time to avoid falling rocks and trees on the highway. During the terrifying event, one of the passengers managed to capture the incident on video, documenting the intense moment as earth and debris cascaded down the slope, covering the road, and rocks struck the bus's roof. The video also captured the panicked screams of some passengers. Remarkably, despite the severity of the landslide, there were no reported injuries, and everyone on board the bus remained unharmed. Although the cause of the landslide was not mentioned, it is worth noting that the weather was not considered a contributing factor. This is particularly significant considering the Philippines' history of catastrophic mudslides that have resulted in numerous fatalities and garnered international attention in the past. Number 15. Mudslide in San Bernardino County. This incredible time-lapse footage captures the aftermath of Tropical Storm K in Yucaipa, San Bernardino County, California, on September 12, 2022. Within just an hour, that storm dumped 2.4 inches of rain on the area. The released clip by San Bernardino County Public Works displays the terrifying speed at which mud overwhelms Birch Creek, causing severe damage to a nearby house. It's unreal how fast it happened. Once the video surfaced online, it quickly gained global attention. Some were worried about the whole situation, while others couldn't believe mudslides could be so dangerous. But you know, it's not just a wild video. At least 16 properties were destroyed by the debris flow, and even worse, a poor Forest Falls resident, who was 62 years old, tragically lost her life when the mud flow hit her home. And there's more. Multiple cars got washed away by the relentless mud, and nearly 3,000 residents from 2 remote communities in the San Bernardino Mountains were seriously affected. The footage stands as a reminder of the immense power and unpredictability of nature's forces. The loss of life and property underscores the importance of understanding and respecting the potential hazards brought on by extreme weather events. Number 14. Landslide in Lueyang County. Located in the southwest of Shanxi Province, China, with borders touching Gansu Province to the north and west, lies Lueyang County. Positioned on the upper reaches of the Jialing River, this region has had to deal with some serious disasters over the years. The devastating 2008 Sichuan earthquake, for instance, wreaked havoc on the county seat, leaving 95% of its buildings damaged in its wake. As if that wasn't enough, Mother Nature decided to play another trick on them in August 2020. The Jialing River decided to have a wild time, and it ended up flooding the county seat. But here's the thing. Lueyang County seems to be a magnet for trouble, especially when it comes to rainfall-induced landslides. One such heart-stopping event was captured on camera on October 6, 2021. The video showcases a chilling scene as mud and trees cascade down the mountain slopes, carrying away a pylon in their path. The impact was so severe that roads were blocked, and the power supply was severely disrupted. Thankfully, due to proactive measures, nearby residents had been evacuated beforehand, ensuring that no injuries occurred during this natural calamity. Number 13. Shangri-La Landslide. Journeys through China's southern mountainous regions often come with a dose of danger, thanks to life-threatening landslides. On April 15, 2022, a monstrous landslide struck near a bridge in the Shangri-La area of China. Despite the sheer force of it all, there were no injuries or casualties reported. But the video footage captured the intensity of the moment with a whole layer of rocks and mud dramatically sliding into the river. It was like something out of a movie. The aftermath of that landslide was no joke either. The rubble piled up and ended up blocking the bridge, which meant traffic had to be suspended until further notice. Even days later, on Monday, April 18, 2022, the local authorities were still hard at work trying to repair the damage. You can imagine how big of a task that must be. Number 12. A rain of boulders. India's monsoon season can be quite treacherous, often bringing devastating floods and landslides. Unfortunately, poorly constructed buildings often give way under the relentless days of non-stop rain. On July 25, 2021, a horrifying landslide struck northern India. It happened in a mountainous area near a village located in the Himalayas. The landslide unleashed a torrent of massive boulders, which crashed down the mountainside and collided with an iron bridge, reducing it to rubble in an instant. The whole scene was caught on camera, and it was nothing short of dramatic, with those boulders dramatically rolling into the valley below. The impact didn't stop there, as about 50 houses and local roads suffered additional damage in the wake of this natural calamity. Tragically, the devastation took a grim toll when some of those boulders hit a vehicle carrying 11 people. The accident claimed the lives of 9 people, leaving the others, including a passerby, injured and in need of immediate attention. Thankfully, quick action was taken, and an operation to help the injured got underway. Some were rushed to hospitals, and others were treated right there on the spot. But you know what really hits hard? All of those who lost their lives were said to be tourists, exploring the area. They were simply caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Number 11. Landslide in Bondo. The village of Bondo, located near the Italian border, faced a devastating catastrophe back in 2017. This involved a monstrous landslide which sent 4 million cubic meters of mud, rocks, and dirt hurtling into the village. The incident led to the evacuation of about 100 people and tragically claimed 8 lives. It was the largest landslide Switzerland had witnessed in 130 years. The impact was immense, wreaking havoc on local roads, houses, and bridges. But here's the silver lining in this dark cloud. An automated warning system had been installed in Bondo following a significant landslide in 2012. That system helped to prevent further loss of lives. As soon as it detected movement on the Piaz-Cengalo mountain, it swiftly alerted emergency services and automatically closed off roads in the village. Now, let's talk about the cause of this devastating landslide. It's believed to be a result of melting snow in the Alps, leading to extensive water flows. This natural process has been happening for thousands of years, but with the temperatures on the rise, it's exacerbating the phenomenon. Changes in soil structure, water content, and pore pressure create instabilities that can lead to such disasters. Number 10. Unfazed travelers. In Peru, landslides have been an ongoing struggle, with tons of torrential rainfall in the mountains causing walls of mud and boulders to cascade down slopes. Unfortunately, the situation is made worse due to years of deforestation, as once protective forests have been cleared for farmland, leaving nothing to hold back the rushing waters. One of these landslides was caught on camera by a passenger on a bus traveling along a highway in Ayacucho, a city in south-central Peru. The footage captured the heart-stopping moment when the landslide completely covered the road, leaving several vehicles stranded. It's incredible how nature's raw power can change the landscape in an instant. What's surprising is the reaction of the people present on the highway. Despite the danger unfolding before their eyes, some of them appear completely unfazed. Instead of fleeing from the tumbling rocks, they're just standing there, watching. It's almost like they're under a spell. Thankfully, they narrowly escaped being buried under rubble and mud, but it was a close call. Witness accounts reveal that the frustrated travelers, whose journeys were abruptly halted by the disaster, eventually took matters into their own hands. They simply stepped over the accident site to find an alternate way to continue their journey. Number 9. A close call. On December 9, 2022, Palos Verdes Estates, California, experienced a dramatic and dangerous landslide that shook the area. It all started when a massive section of a cliff crumbled away from a ridgeline, triggering panic and necessitating a beach closure. The landslide was moving so fast, it even managed to pummel a Los Angeles County Beaches and Harbors truck that had been parked at the bottom of the cliff. Thankfully, no one was inside the truck at the time of the incident. The employee who drove the truck to the area was, fortunately, talking to a supervisor away from the landslide's path when the hillside collapsed. Talk about a close call. The situation was so precarious that authorities couldn't immediately attempt to remove the truck from the landslide site. They had to wait for days as the area was still unstable and active, and they didn't want to put anyone in danger. And that's not all. The impact of the landslide extended beyond the truck. It also affected a portion of a backyard of a property located directly above the landslide area. Mother Nature can be truly unforgiving. In the aftermath of the incident, building inspectors were quick to assess the safety of the homes situated atop the cliff. As a precautionary measure, an unknown number of homeowners were evacuated to ensure their well-being. Number 8. Not lava flow. This next one is something unlike any other landslide videos you've seen before. This time, it's a graphic and mesmerizing display of a slow-moving landslide, almost resembling a lava flow. The incident took place in Dimya village, located in the Tibetan area of Kham, within the Dzatoe Township, Trindu County, Yulshul Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture in Qinghai. In the video, you'll see the top layer of the grasslands gently sliding downhill, flowing like a steady stream near livestock and nomadic dwellings. The distress of the Tibetans looking on is evident as they witness this natural spectacle unfolding before their eyes. The mind-blowing footage has been making the rounds online, and people can't stop talking about it. And not just because it's a jaw-dropping spectacle, but also because it's raising some serious questions about climate change and how it's affecting the grasslands on the world's highest and largest plateau. What makes this landslide particularly fascinating to scientists is that it's classified as an earth flow, a type that typically oozes slowly, in contrast to the quick and sudden movement seen in some other landslides. As the video gained traction on social media, speculation arose about whether melting permafrost played a role in triggering the earth flow. Number 7. The highway disaster. This dashcam footage captured a truly horrific incident in Nagaland, India. It shows the terrifying moment when giant boulders came hurtling down a hill due to a landslide, and their destructive path left 2 cars completely crushed in their wake. It's absolutely heart-stopping to watch. But it didn't stop there. One of those massive boulders toppled yet another unfortunate car and caused it to collide with a truck beside it. This tragic event took place amid heavy rainfall on the Kohima-Dimapur National Highway in the Chumukadima district between Dimapur and Kohima. This area is notorious for landslides and rockfalls, so it's no surprise that disaster struck here. In the aftermath of the accident, one person sadly lost their life on the spot, while another passed away during treatment at a hospital. 3 others were seriously injured, and the rescue team had to step in to save one person who was trapped inside one of the crushed cars. It's just heartbreaking. But here's some small comfort amidst the grief. Nagaland Chief Minister Naifiurio expressed his condolences for the loss of lives and took swift action. He announced monetary compensation for the families of the deceased, as well as the necessary medical assistance for the injured. Number 6. Malibu Canyon Road. Back in February of this year, Southern California was hit by a wild weather extravaganza, with rain, snow, and fierce winds wreaking havoc in the area. It was like nature's fury unleashed, leading to flooded streets, terrifying mudslides, and trees toppling over due to the high winds. Those relentless storms caused power outages, and mountain communities had no choice but to close schools to keep everyone safe. It was a tough time for everyone, especially for the residents of La Canada, Flint Ridge, and Beverly Crest, whose homes bore the brunt of the damage from the mud flow and debris. Some residents had to evacuate, leaving behind their cherished homes. But here's the real nail-biter of an event. A live camera captured one of the effects of that extreme weather. Malibu Canyon Road was completely blocked off by falling rocks and a massive mudslide. This footage shows the moment when that happened. A law enforcement officer at the scene can also be seen scrambling to safety as the hillside collapsed around him. Thankfully, and I mean really thankfully, no injuries were reported from that terrifying event. As soon as the dust settled, crews rushed to the scene to clear the roadway and get things back to normal. You've got to appreciate their swift response. They worked tirelessly, and in no time, a section of the road was reopened. Now, it's time for today's subscriber pick. This image captures the aftermath of a colossal landslide completely concealing an entire highway. How long do you reckon it took to successfully clear the earth and debris from the road? Have you ever seen a landslide in person? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Number 5. LESHAN Landslide. LESHAN is a bustling city in China sitting at the meeting point of the Dadu and Min rivers. It's an industrial hub with top-notch railway and port connections. Sounds like a place that's got it all, right? However, with all that development, landslides can become a major headache. On July 11, 2019, crews were hard at work on a reservoir just outside the city when a massive landslide decided to show up uninvited. The scene was nothing short of chaotic. Trees and mud cascaded down from the mountainside, threatening to overwhelm everything in its path. The video also shows a man who hightailed it out of there like lightning, trying to outrun nature's fury. Luckily, not many construction vehicles were around, so thank goodness there were no casualties to report. But the consequences were still significant. The road became impassable, and the reservoir suffered severe damage. Number 4. Black's Beach, San Diego. This next video captures the moment when gigantic rock formations and cliffside sections broke free, tumbling down towards the beach. This incident took place in January this year at Black's Beach, in the La Jolla area of San Diego. Witnesses couldn't believe their eyes. The force of the collapse was beyond anything they had ever seen. It punched a crater into a section of the beach and even exploded upward. It was like nature decided to put on a show of raw power. Approximately 150,000 cubic yards of material were involved in the collapse. But here's some good news amidst the awe and wonder. The collapse happened at a relatively slow pace, giving beachgoers ample time to get out of harm's way. Thankfully, not a single person was injured. A geology professor later dubbed it the most significant cliff failure in 40 years. While the exact cause of the collapse remains a mystery, recent rainfall and other climate factors are believed to have played a role. The magnitude of the event also compelled authorities to close several trails in the vicinity for safety reasons. Number 3. Landslide blocks highway. Back on April 25, 2010, a massive landslide rocked a highway near Shiji, Taiwan, and it was no joke. The disaster struck around 2:30 p.m. with an entire hillside crashing down onto the highway and completely buried both directions of it. Tragically, 4 cars got caught in the chaos, and it claimed the lives of 4 people. It was a devastating scene, and everyone knew they had to act fast to save lives. As soon as the authorities got wind of the catastrophe, they jumped into action. The National Fire Agency's Disaster Rescue Division wasted no time, dispatching helicopters from the National Airborne Service Corps and their own special search and rescue team. They also got the Ministry of National Defense involved, calling in soldiers and rescue equipment to lend a helping hand. But it was no easy task. Even with relentless 24 digging, they could only manage to remove about 5,000 cubic meters of earth. Can you believe that? It took nearly a whole month of hard work to finally clear away that massive landslide and get the highway back in shape. Now, they had some theories about what might have caused this monster of a landslide. Poor anchorage on the hillside was pointed out as a potential culprit. It hadn't even rained, and there were no earthquakes recorded at the time of the collapse, so that was pretty strange. Number 2. Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir, a region administered by India as a union territory, boasts a primarily services-based and agriculture-oriented economy. The vast majority of this territory is mountainous, making it highly susceptible to landslides. In fact, in 2022, Jammu and Kashmir earned the rather dubious distinction of being declared the 5th highest landslide-prone region in the country. On April 2, 2023, disaster struck when a major landslide hit the national highway in Jammu and Kashmir's Ramban district. The incident was captured on camera, showing the terrifying moment near the T5 tunnel in the Pantial zone, where stones and massive boulders came crashing down. In the video, you can witness the intensity of the situation as boulders head toward a vehicle attempting to reverse. The commotion led to panicked screams in the background. According to eyewitness accounts, an army vehicle carrying some army officers had a narrow escape as the landslide struck without warning. Thankfully, all of them emerged unscathed, but the traffic in the area came to a complete standstill. Reports indicated that the highway had to be closed for operations due to the landslide, but authorities worked diligently to clear the debris and safely reopen the route for traffic. Number 1. Flowing into the sea. On the afternoon of June 3, 2020, Jan Egil Bakkadal, a resident of Krakneset, Norway, had just made himself a sandwich when a deafening noise jolted him. Realizing it was a landslide, he immediately fled for his life but managed to capture the harrowing event on film from a nearby hill in Arctic Norway. Here is the footage he recorded. The landslide wreaked havoc on the serene village, sweeping 8 houses, primarily holiday cabins, into the sea. Tragically, one of the lost houses belonged to Jan himself. This monstrous landslide stretched an astonishing 2,133 feet along the shore and reached nearly 500 feet inland, making it the largest ever witnessed in the area. Rescue operations were launched involving the local police force, fire and ambulance services, helicopter rescue teams, the Red Cross, and the Coast Guard. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, and even a dog swept into the sea managed to swim back to safety. The exact cause of the landslide remained unclear, although officials dismissed human activity as the likely trigger. In an unfortunate turn of events, just 3 days after the initial landslide, a second one struck, causing further destruction as it ripped through part of the coastal highway. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.